lagi! Hello, everybody, and welcome to Casual Esports Amateur League Week 5 for Kamikaze Penguins versus NEX Esports. I am Ansem571. And who is this lovely lad that is going to be co-hosting with me tonight?
That would be Scattercat Ansem. Thank you for asking. Hi, everybody. I'll be your color caster for tonight's match. And yeah, so let's talk about these two teams here, Ansem. We have Kamikaze Penguins, who are old hats in the league. They've been around for a while, right? And facing them is NEX Esports, and they're newer faces to the league. They haven't been around as long as the Kamikaze Penguins here, much newer. So I think it's kind of a cool storyline we got going right there. You know, we got some rookies of sorts versus some veterans, kind of like watching Golden Guardians versus any of the other teams in the LCS. But
Well, interestingly enough, NEX Esports, they were last season called Schist Storm. And
so it is okay.
yeah, so we do have
Don't change
returning
team
players.
names on me, everybody. I can't keep track of all of that.
And also, a few of the players from that team ended up going to Kamikaze Penguins, namely Zenial. So we do actually have quite a bit of rivalry in on this matchup here.
Every time a team changes their team name, I can't keep track that it's actually like one of the old teams. It confuses me every time.
That's what I'm here to tell you about. So,
All right. Well, Scattercat's Dum Dum, and we're moving into the draft here. We got some bans coming out. We got Hecarim being banned by the Penguins, and now they're also banning Udyr. Meanwhile, Nex is banning Urgot. Any predictions on some of the bans coming up here, Ansem? Anything you think is going to be prioritized to take out of the game?
so since we are against Mansford, you know, his core champions of like Corky, um, Silas, Vagar, those are kind of some champions, but we do have Cheeseblaze in the top lane, so we have to have Urgot and Fiora banned to him to
Fair enough.
to understandable. He is actually, if we remember back at the beginning of the season, he was one of the top-rated players for top lane. However, with the caveat on those two champions specifically, afterwards he does drop down to a more acceptable level of where he is, and we do see a Syndra ban from KP. Um, Pretty standard mid laner champion, especially here in this gold, low platinum area.
Yeah, I did want to touch on the Corky for Mansford that you brought up already, because you know if you watch any of LS's content, Corky is a dog tier champion according to LS. So,
But as I said though, one of the champions was Vagar, and that did get banned. They don't want nothing of that.
yep, which is fair enough because Vagar is terrifying in late game no matter how bad he is in the meta because he stacks infinitely, ladies and gentlemen. We've all been there. We've all been playing League and we're feeling pretty confident we're going to win, and then a Vagar comes in at 40 minutes and dominates the entire game. We've all seen it. The lock-in with Kaisa for the Penguins makes perfect sense. She's one of the best AD carries in the game on this current patch. And then Next responds with Jin, who's another very strong AD carry on the current patch as well. And that Swain pick could be swapped between a couple of roles. That could either be a support Swain, an AP carry in the bot lane Swain, or mid lane Swain, but more than likely that's support.
Yeah, I don't think that that's a mid lane Swain. I'm pretty sure that that's a support Swain. It synergizes really well for Jin, because if either of them get a root off, then the other can get their root off, and Swain will be able to get at least one of his passos to proc.
Mm-hmm.
Skarner is a crowd favorite of Always Going to Game. Skarner and a Mumu. I actually am looking to see if Berserker will pick up something like a Mumu, maybe even Zac even. Some of these champions that you just don't see in pro play, but that they're just really good for lower tiered competition. Yeah. But we do have a Garen going into the top lane.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's spicy. I
You
like
don't
it.
see a lot of Garens these days. A lot more people are more willing to play things like the Cho'Gath or the Ornn or things
Hmm.
of that nature. We don't see Garen all that often. That's kind of nice. I'm interested to see how well he performs on that champion. And then in response here, I wouldn't be surprised if they picked a jungler. Okay, yep, Olaf is a jungler. That would make sense to lock in,
And it's able to
which they
dual
do.
Skarner pretty well early. So from my information that I have gathered from both of these teams, um, again, I believe that they're going to put Mansford on probably looking at Kassadin or Silas. I don't think Corki fits here that well. But
Yeah.
also,
Oh wow,
uh,
they're actually just gonna ban
okay.
Corky. Wow. Okay. I don't think that's worth a ban, but they do.
And then for
Um.
Nex, Destiny, or as he was the artist formerly known as Destiny, uh, he isn't really great on tanks top, so we're probably not going to see something like a Shen or Ornn top lane, but maybe more closer to bruisers, like a Darius or maybe even a Camille as a fighter. Um,
Yeah. I mean, Darius has one of the top win rates in solo queue right now, so I would have expected them to
and that's
prioritize
post nerf.
Darius. You know, if he had that play style, right? I would have expected that instead of the Garen. But
Yep. Yeah, and then we do
Malphite
have the
is also
Malphite.
very strong, so yeah, it
Um,
makes sense to ban Malphite.
that I believe that that's a support Malphite ban because Mansford doesn't know how to play Malphite. Um, Nico's the odd one out though. I think I don't think of Sengesia as a Nico player. Um, but that's to each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
Viego is valid. Been so for a couple weeks now, so we may actually see that. Mordekaiser, though, in the top lane.
Okay. Top lane Mordekaiser, also a very good top lane pick going around right now.
I
Mordekaiser and a Garen is great, but I think more than likely the reason they picked Mordekaiser is that he can use his ultimate on Skarner. Whenever Skarner goes in with his ultimate, they just immediately cancel that out by ulting the Skarner.
Yeah, that would be a
Um,
good idea. Silas, uh,
oh wow, they locked those in real fast.
and Nami. No, they know what they want from here. But it's looking more so that the Kaisa has to be the carry for this game. Silas can do stuff, but it's not really up to him to be the main threat in this team, I feel. Just because of you have three beefy boys in the support, jungle, and top lane. He's going to have to get past, and I don't think he can.
Yeah, Kaisa's definitely going to be the one to focus on as far as KP's team comp is concerned. She's going to
Hmm.
be the one to carry the game or lose the game for the team. Really, if Kaisa's not able to get a lot of damage off in these fights, they're basically going to lose most of the team fights in the game unless they're really far ahead. Next,
Hmm.
on the other hand, locks in Rise as their final champion. Rise is pretty good right now in the meta, especially if it's somebody who has put a lot of time and effort on the champion.
Hmm.
I would say, from my experience, Rise is stronger right now than he was last season, so that's a bonus for them.
Hmm.
It seems like it's a lot. It seems like he hits his power spikes earlier on this season than he has in last season. So that's good news. I also like the idea of their team fights here, where they have Olaf and Swain going into the middle of the fights. Olaf with his ultimate, Swain with his ultimate as well. Then they have Mordekaiser to provide more frontline, maybe a little bit of peel in case Skarner's getting on Jin. And then Jin and Rise on the backline should just be able to pump in a ton of damage.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this, and I do. So both teams are very scrappy, but Nex has a much more easier time of it. I feel.
Yeah,
Um,
they have easier they have an easier way of making these fights work out for them. The execution is a lot lower on them. Kaiso's really gonna have to pick her moments when she's gonna use her ultimate in these fights. She's gonna have to pick her moments on when to engage and when to stay back.
mhm.
Um, Skarner and Garen and Silas, sure they can get into fights, they can try to get to the back line, but all three of them are really easy to interrupt when you have Mordekaiser, Swain, and Olaf there to run into them.
Yeah, so
Um,
still like Jin and Rise, uh, more so than the other three, they need to get either the QSS or for Rise the Zanyas and be ready to push that immediately on Skarner Flash because he's going for those two. The other three,
Yeah.
Mordekaiser can break it off of somebody. Olaf can
Mhm.
break out of it himself. Swain, it's a support Swain. It's not really going to be that threatening.
I mean, I wouldn't underestimate the Swain support.
No, 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 no. Like,
Um,
so in terms of just immediately go in, get out, the Jin is the most ideal. But
mhm.
you're not going to fear the Swain in a get in, get out situation. Swain is the kind of you get in and you're scrapping for a long time, and then you try to leave, and then it's too late. Whereas the
Yeah.
Skarner, he just wants to go in, grab somebody, get out. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that they have uh, a better time of doing that if specifically Jin is out of position. Rise, he can press his Zonias because he should be buying that in this game. If he doesn't, I'm gonna go and yell at him after this game.
I mean, Jin isn't completely immobile though because he should be building a Gale Force this game to help him if he does get caught a little bit.
Oh
Uh,
no.
well, what happened? Connection issues maybe for a little bit in the lobby. Okay. Anyway, they'll get that going again real soon.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So as far as the two team comps are concerned, I like Nex's comp more than KP. I would give them the edge in the draft here, especially considering that their bans make at least a little bit more sense to me than the bans that KP is putting out there. Like, I don't know what the Nico ban is for. I don't know what player on Next plays Nico. I don't know why that's there in the draft. But we see that that Next is targeting the top laner on KP with the Urgot, the Fiora ban. They're taking Vhagar out of there. They're taking Corki out of there. As far as Mansberg is on Sylas, I know he's good on Sylas, but I know he has better champs than Sylas.
yeah. So and that's why I mentioned like the Kassadin might have been more threatening, especially since he can jump around and dodge a lot of the aggression that would come out from from pretty much all of the front line of Nex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, like I would
So
say
as
I would say Nex came out on top in draft. If KP can execute their comp, uh, where it's just like get Kaisa ahead, Silas try to find a path into the back line. Same with Garen and Skarner and Nami. Just get in the back, sit down, heal your A to carry. Uh, Next is kind of just everybody go in. There is no turning back.
yeah, basically. So, all right, so we got that out of the way. We both are in agreement here on which team kind of quote unquote won the draft, so to speak. Um, so I guess let's take a look here in the lobby and see if we can see any interesting. If we can see any interesting, oh no, we can't see the rune choices or
Not
even
yet.
the summoner choices yet. Because I was gonna say, I wouldn't be surprised if some members of Nex used, they picked Cleanse as one of their summoners here just because of the Skarner ultimate.
Well, the
Like
Skarner.
if I
Well,
like,
so the Skarner ultimate is a suppression, so cleanse doesn't remove suppressions.
oh right, it counts as a suppression. You're right.
Yep. So if they
You're
do,
right.
that's even worse for them.
Yeah. I keep thinking that it counts as like a snare, not a suppression.
Yep.
You are correct though. That's how little I see Skarner in my ranked solo queue games. That's how little I see him around
Well,
around.
well,
I should watch more Captain Flowers streams or something.
it's
Maybe I
okay
would remember
because as you and some of our viewers may know, I am the boomer of this league. Not in
that.
terms of actual physical age, because there are people that are a lot older than me. But I've been playing this game since season one. I've seen it all. I hated most of it, and there's only a few feel good moments that have happened in patches. But I've seen a lot of it, and I do believe that Next does have the advantage. Um, Weird champion choices for
Yeah.
KP.
Yeah.
I've actually subbed in a couple of the scrims for both sides, primarily for KP, and uh, they do have a pseudo advantage over them in terms of the uh, scrim games, but also that was without Cheese Blaze. So
Fair enough. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, you did mention that some of the picks are a little weird here, but like Garen might seem a little weird, but I do remember that there was a Garen in our league that had the first pentakill of the season this season. Was
really,
that Cheeseblade that had that pentakill, or was that a different
I think
Garen
that
that
was a
did
different gear.
that? Okay, all right. Because I was gonna say if that was Cheeseblaze that got that pentakill on Garen, then maybe we should be um, less judgmental about the Garen pick. But whatever. Um, and obviously the Skarner, if Captain Flowers was here, would be cheering and hooting and hollering about Skarner and talking to him up. But none of us play Skarner like he does, so I'm not as excited as he would be in this situation. Um, I am excited to see Kaisa pop off because she's a lot of fun to watch if she gets to. Same with Jin though, and they should both be building a Gale Force because that tends to be what people build on both of those champions. So yeah, this game kind of hinges on Kaisa for KP more than anybody else. Um, Whereas for NEX, the game doesn't hinge on one champion. The game kind of hinges on how well they make it through laning phase and then work together in the team fights. So I think NEX has a lot more outs if things happen to go wrong. Because Olaf could carry if they need to, if he gets ahead. Mordekaiser could also carry the game if he gets really far ahead.
Mhm.
Same thing with Jin. Rise could even carry if he gets really far ahead. They have a lot more options to actually play around different people to win the game, whereas KP does not.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how. So I think that the first 5 minutes are going to determine if KP even has a shot at this one. I feel. Yeah, Silas can get annoying, but so can pretty much everybody on Nex. Like I don't want to. I don't want to like uh hype up Nex too much and be like, yeah, no, KP, they're dog.
Oh,
But
yeah, no, that's not what I'm
but
trying to do either.
but looking at the comp differences, Nex just looks better. For
On paper,
like they
on
like they
paper,
both do
yeah.
the same thing, but Nex just looks like it does it better. But in the chat, who do you think is going to win game one? KP on the blue side, Nex on the red side. Who do you think as we get into this banger of a match?
All right, I have loaded onto the Rift Ansem. Are you also loaded
I
on?
have not done so.
Okay, we'll get caught up and
Yeah,
synced up here in just a second.
yeah, so just
Uh,
chill out at 10 seconds and I'll let you know when I.
sounds good.
Because I'm currently at 0%. Oh, the cursor changed. Okay, I'm in. Just want to get to 10 seconds.
Yep.
Alright, and in 3, 2, 1, go.
Perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on Summoner's Rift here. I'm interested to see if Next decides to do an invade here with the Swain and the Mordekaiser grab. I would try an invade if I were them, but maybe that's just me. It looks like they are kind of lining up in one spot. Not sure if that's to invade or if they think that they'll be invaded. They just want to be there to counter it.
That might be, well, so they do have a Swain for an extended route. So they could invade if they wanted to. But we do see KP going in on the top side and getting them visions.
Yeah, smart on them to go up there and just get a ward in that red buff. area. Skarner's being a little bit brave, and he's going around just to check things out.
Well, no, he got the
Oh yeah,
his spire.
The 5 gold or 10 gold or whatever you get from it. 10 gold ahead. Don't throw, team. He's moving back out though, just leaving the ward there. And yeah, NEX doesn't go for the invade. They just kind of decide to grab the little. I don't know what you call those. Spire? Is that what they're called? A spire?
Spires.
I don't know.
Spires.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I had the word. And now they're moving over to all their starting positions here in the jungle.
Oh, we actually see a path for the Olaf. He looks like he's going to do a couple quick camps and then try and look for a lane gank in bot lane.
Which I like. I like that. They know that Kai'Sa's a big threat. Basically because of the patch and how strong she is compared to other AD carries, yes, she is absolutely the threat. Focus her down. Meanwhile, up in top lane, the Mordekaiser should be able to handle the Garen just fine on his own. You can kind of leave top lane to be an island the whole time. During
both of them are going to scrap, and it's just going to be left at that for a while.
Now, I don't see anything out of the ordinary as far as summoner spells go, or as far as runes are concerned here either. Everything looks pretty normal in that regard. What we would expect to see out of all that.
Something interesting. Nice grab. Skarner went buff Gromp, and I don't think that actually gives you 3. So he's going to have to kill like a small wolf or something to get 3. Unless they. Oh no, they did. Okay, so they did change the XP that gives. Okay, so he did hit 3 off that.
And I do like what Ryze is doing in the mid lane, using his W to actually poke at Ryze instead of just trying to hit him with an E and Q combo or something. Pretty smart.
Hit it Silas.
Pretty smart way of dealing with Silas there. Meanwhile, down in bot lane, things are going basically kind of how we thought they would here, with Swing getting some grabs off to help that passive out, get those stacks.
Getting a lot of stacks onto this Kai'Sa.
Getting a lot of stacks.
Jhin trying to get the last hit onto the Kai'Sa, but she too quick.
Yep, that's Kai'Sa. She's a fast lady. She runs real fast. Especially on that upgrade.
We gotta fight top. We gotta fight bot. It's happening. Swain is getting collapsed on. We do have the Skarner with the red and the blue buff. He does have to flash with the exhaust onto him. Now gets bubbled by the Nami, and Skarner tries to go and do just a little bit of damage. And he will actually get it, but now the Jhin will be able to get a kill back lane. And then we do have a fight in the top lane happening. Olaf trying to do a little bit of damage to him. Silas even roamed down to the bottom side, but too little too late. It's a 1-for-1 trade with First Blood going over to the Skarner.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth ganking top lane, Olaf. I think that's kind of what we see.
Nice flash from both of them. Now Jhin does fall, but will get a retribution kill onto Silas.
Yeah, if you look at how that panned out for both teams, there's another.
Oh, we do have another skirmish in the top lane. Mordekaiser does have this pullback. Now the Garen is going to go down, but he does get enough damage off and heals from the Triumph proc, thanks to that Ignite as well. If he didn't have Ignite, I think he would have died.
Yeah. The Ignite is what made that work out. So one thing I do want to point out about how that all worked out bot lane, Jhin got 2 kills out of all of that skirmishing that happened bot lane. He killed the Skarner, he killed the Silas. Whereas Kai'Sa didn't take part in any of the kills that KP got. So Jhin actually comes out ahead. Even though he died, Kai'Sa didn't die. Jhin still comes out ahead there because Kai'Sa didn't even get assists for any of that.
Yeah, so what you'll see is a experience gap between the two, actually, because even though Kai'Sa didn't get anything off of it, she was still in range for the actual experience of both the support and the AD carry dying. So she will be able to hit 6 first.
But Jhin also is better off in his item build for his mythic now as well, because he had 500 more gold than she did.
Yeah, so now you're going to be looking at top lane. As a top laner, you're going to be thinking that the Mordekaiser is like, okay, he only won because of really stupid luck. It was the damn Ignite. It was the thing, and no, I can beat him. So you're going to see the next fight up top lane is going to be trying to get revenge. and it's going to be a really stupid fight. But we have a little bit of a scruffle in the mid lane. Junglers trying to influence the mid lanes, but both of them have to end up just walking away.
Yeah, Garen bought his boots already, finished those up. He bought the Berserker's Greaves.
I don't agree with that, but
I don't agree with it either. But Mordekaiser's got a lot of armor for himself now.
now the Skarner is back to bot lane, does get onto the Jhin. The Jhin is going to go down to the Kaisa, and now she's caught up in terms of gold, I feel. Now the Sylas and the Ryze are going to be fighting in the mid lane. The Sylas is already winning with the Conqueror stacks. The Ryze is going to flash over the wall and escape death.
Yeah, if we look at the gold that Kaisa got because of that kill, she is still behind in gold, but only by about 250 or so. So it's not that much of a deficit anymore.
Minimal at best.
Yeah, it's minimal. It's not even enough to it's not even enough to buy boots.
You could buy a charm.
You can buy a little charm with that. Yeah. A little.
Oh, we do have a TP coming in from the Mordekaiser into the bottom lane. The bottom lane does escape, and that first Ocean Drake will be going over to NEX Esports.
Yeah, you know, I feel like that's worth the teleport because Ocean Drake is going to help you sustain in lane a little bit more, which it looks like they need at this point because they are behind by 1,000 gold already at 7 minutes, and they don't want that to get any more out of hand than it already is.
Yeah, so Mordekaiser having to do the slow walk of shame back up to top lane. Doesn't even have tier 2 boots, so it's going to take him even longer. Garen, I think he got at least 1 plate out of all of that.
Yeah,
so pretty.
He just got a 2nd plate top lane.
So well now he stayed as well, overstayed his welcomes. So I think that it would have been a better option for after the pull, Mordekaiser to just ult him under, because it would have put the Death Realm right at the tower, and he wouldn't have had an option to escape. But
basically,
to each their own. Everybody goes back their separate ways. Garen is going back and it's getting. I don't know. I think that's. It's an Iron Whip. Oh, Stridebreaker. That's what it is. So he's going for Stridebreaker as his mythic. Mordekaiser should be going Riftmaker, as we will see eventually.
We also see that Kaisa actually got her recall off at a really good time because she comes back with a pickaxe and the Noon Quiver, whereas Jhin still hasn't backed yet, and he's going to be behind in his item build, and this also gives Kaisa an advantage in lane. They can just push waves into tower until Jhin does recall and come back. So it's really good job here by KP's bottom lane combo of Zayenial and Asav for making that decision.
So I would like to say from both sides, because you can actually see the little number. So the bigger number is the vision score. The little number is how many they actually have in their pocket for their wards. Mordekaiser still has 2 wards in his pocket that he's not using. Even if you just put it in.
Be the curse of all top laners, right? They tend not to be able to put a lot of vision down during laning phase.
I'm not most top laners, so. But we do have a little scuffle going on, and Mordekaiser does immediately ult onto the Skarner. The Ryze is there into the top lane already, with the Sylas hopping in onto the bottom as well. Bot lane does have a fight going on, and Jhin does open up into the bottom lane, trying to get the Kaisa, but doesn't get the final little bit of damage with that 4th shot. Now no ultimate from the Mordekaiser, so that'll be it for here. We do have the Olaf getting his ult taken away by Sylas. There's so many fights going on! We do have enough of a fight happened in the top lane. Now the Ryze is going to be taken down by the Garen and the Skarners, with Mansford going down in the top lane, Kaisa going down in the bottom lane, and Swain going down in the bottom lane. It is a 4 for 2 overall.
Hey, Kamikaze Penguins and NEX. Don't have 2 fights going on at the same time across the map. Real hard for us to talk about what's going on.
Yeah, I am one play-by-play person.
So there are a couple of big winners that we can point out from those fights. Big winner number 1 would be Skarner there. He's 3-1-2. He also got the Rift Herald. Major victory there for KP. Garen also took part in some of that. He's 2-0-2 right now. And the other big winner that came out of that would be Jin down in the bot lane. He's 3-2-0, but he did kill Kaisa there. So if we look at the gold difference between the two of them, he is up by 600-ish gold. So it really helps Jin out to be ahead right now, because you can't let Kaisa get ahead. You can't let her get an advantage because she's just too good of a champion.
Silas trying to go in onto the Rise. The Rise does get enough distance to be able to at least trade off. Still, the Rise does go a little bit negative on that trade. Silas is looking towards the bottom lane, though. He doesn't have anybody's ultimate stolen as of right now. As we are having the first items completed, we do see, as I mentioned, Stridebreaker for the Garen, Sunderer for Skarner. I think Trinity Force would have been better, but that is okay. And now the Silas just gets popped.
Mansberg, you were a little too ballsy for your own good there on that engage.
Ooh, missed both the snares for Swain and Jin. Now the Skarner is trying to do a bit of damage. Olaf, I don't think you had to actually ult there, but that's okay. Now we do have Mordekaiser and Garen fighting in the top lane. The Mordekaiser misses his Q and has to flash away from the Garen. Now the Nami in the bottom lane does use his ultimate. Does get the bubble off onto the Swain. The Swain is going to use as much as he can before he dies, but doesn't get any value out of it. Now the Skarner flashes onto the Jin. The Jin is going to be pulled back just a little bit. Now the Kaisa ults in to try to clean up. Does get taken down, but not before she takes out the Jin. And now both top laners are fighting once again, trying to see who is going to out-sustain the other. And as of right now, it's looking to be the Garen.
The action just never stops, Ansem, in the Casual Esports Amateur League. Constant fighting going on across the map.
But we do see Mansberg does flash onto the Olaf. He does have the Swain ultimate, and he does blow up the Olaf. Now Rise has to escape and try to not die from this. Does actually charge back into the Silas. The Silas healing is pretty strong. Wouldn't you agree?
And yeah, right when I say that we have constant fighting across the rift, they start fighting again in the Dragon Pit. Swain's even coming down now, thinking that he's going to fight again.
Nami has no mana, but Mansberg is low on health. Is going to be taken down ever so slightly. Tries to escape. Doesn't actually get the final... actually cancels his ultimate early.
Yeah, he only fired off the one shot. Probably as soon as he hits...
Oh, but he does get the W snipe onto the Silas! And now they're trying to catch the Skarner. The Dragon still has not actually been taken, which was the fight after the first fight in bottom lane. We do get the snare and root onto the Kaisa. The Kaisa does take a lot of damage. Gets dropped to about 55% HP. And they will go back to their respective lanes, with Olaf probably looking to go and try and take this dragon.
So, KP, the Penguins here, they are 3,000 gold ahead. They have the advantage. They've been ahead in gold since the 7-ish minute mark when they were about 1,000 gold ahead. So it's kind of been going in their favor ever since then. And one of the reasons for that is because when you're ahead and you keep fighting,
we got another brawl in the, around the Dragon Pit. Swain does get dropped very quickly. Skarner stole the Infernal Dragon. Jin does take down the Kaisa. The Olaf is going to be dragged by the Skarner, and now he's going to go get dropped. Olaf trying to survive as long as he can. The Silas does get taken down now, and now Olaf is running down this Nami with no mana, no life left. Is going to be taken down 4 for 1 for the side of NEX, and they do lose the dragon, so it will now be Wind Soul. So we will have 3 Cloud Drakes coming into you hot for this matchup.
So, as I was saying, if you're ahead of gold and you're choosing, if you're ahead in gold and items and you're choosing to fight your opponents, odds are you're going to stay ahead because you're going to win those fights. But NEX was able to pick their moment there. They found a fight that they actually really wanted, that they knew they would come out ahead in, and it pays dividends for them because now they're only behind by about 500 gold, 600 gold, give or take a few. So they actually played catch-up there really nicely.
And Jin was the recipient of most of those kills.
Yes.
Oh, does get ignited onto the Mordekaiser. The Mordekaiser is probably going to go down to that ignite. He does survive ever so much, but the Swain will suffer for his cause.
Man, Swain, if you only had one more grasp there to root him under tower, that might have actually been able to kill him.
Now Olaf is trying to keep them from taking this tower. Does do a bit of damage to try to dissuade them, but not enough. But the snipe from the Jin on the side does catch the Nami, and Olaf will take him down. Or sorry, Rise takes him down. And Jin just pepper sprays them in the back line to make sure, hey, you better keep running, boy.
Yep, and a ping comes out for bot lane by NEX because Kaisa pushed the wave in, so they have to worry about that now at tower. They're luckily going to go defend it right away. The minions aren't going to get that much damage on tower. They're going to push that wave out. It looks like they're also going to be trying to push all their waves out at roughly the same pace here, with Mordekaiser top, mid lane at tower, and then bot lane also pushing out. Very nice job getting all the waves under their control again here real quick. Rise has a bounty on his head. Jin also has a bounty on his head.
Oh, Skarner caught the Rise, I think. He does get the stun, but he doesn't actually go for the ultimate. Now Skarner is going to get dropped.
Oh.
Gale Force plus
Jin.
one little itty bitty Q was enough to kill him out.
Boy. As an AD carry who likes to play Jin with Gale Force, that's one of the most fun things in the world to do, is get a kill using your Gale Force dash. It's super satisfying.
Yeah, so I think that they could fix Gale Force a little bit with changing it from doing magic damage scaling with AD to just AD scaling do AD damage, because, you know, that would make sense.
I know they're giving Gale Force a little bit of a nerf. I just can't remember what the nerf is. I can't remember off the top of my head how much the nerf is. But that's not even the biggest nerf coming up. The biggest nerf coming up is to do with Samira, but she's not in this game, so I'm not going to dwell on that fact a little.
Fair enough. But yes, people in the chat, please press F for the directed camera, because it could not keep up with these fights. As we do get another catch, thanks to the courtesy of the Swain and the Jin roots onto the Skarner.
So Jin and Rise are both becoming monsters in this game. And that's kind of terrifying if you're KP, especially if you look at some of the CS differences here. Silas, his CS numbers are pretty bad right now.
Yep.
You know, it's at the 18-minute mark of the game. His CS should be somewhere around the 160s or so. Not even close to that. Rise is a little bit closer. He's doing a little bit better in that regard. Yeah. But it's easier to get CS if you're not dying all the time like Silas is.
Yeah, and then you look at the Garen, and we do get the snare. Doesn't get it landed because the Nami did flash, but that is a flashless fish that will be filleted in the next few minutes.
Jin, on the other end, being 9-3-5, 500 gold bounty on his head.
Ooh, we do get another snare onto the Skarner. The Skarner's trying to escape and does get a little bit out, but with the Gale Force was able to be taken down by the Jin. Now 10-3.
Yep. Jin has to be the priority target in these fights.
Garen is going in onto the Swain. He does actually end up killing him, and now tries to get to the Rise. The Kaiser does take down the Rise with the shutdown gold, and now they're trying to get the Jin. The Jin is going to open up onto the Garen. The Garen will be able to escape ever so close, but Kaisa will be taken down thanks to the Mordekaiser's Shadow Realm.
Oh my god, teams, let me get my point in so I don't have to...
No, I gotta talk. Now, Silas with the Swain ultimate does go in. Doesn't really get much off of it yet. He does still have it as an activation. Now it goes out, and he has to take somebody else's ultimate. I don't know if he's going to be taking the Olaf or the Jin, but he is going to probably be taking one of those two. But before that all goes, Garen does get a lot of damage onto the back line. Jin barely surviving with the flash, and they will be able to take this third dragon of the game. Finally, give me a moment to rest. Scattercat, please say something.
All right, yeah. Thank you, teams, for letting me get a word in. So Jin has to be the priority target for KP in these fights. The problem is it's kind of hard to get onto Jin. It has to be kind of a joint effort of everybody on the team just to get to Jin. And even when it did happen, as you saw in that last little skirmish, Jin was still able to escape in the end because of Flash. So even if you do get everybody on Jin, it's not guaranteed that you'll actually be able to take him out. Kind of frustrating for KP, but then again, they are ahead ever so slightly in the gold, and they are going to take Baron here.
Yeah, now they do take Baron, but a fight will ensue, and they do immediately take 3 down. Only the Silas and the Garen are left standing.
Which is not going to be enough to defend any towers right now.
Yeah, neither of them have any real uh, wave clear. They just have the Baron empowered minions, but Jin will be able to line that snipe up and get at the Silas with just a little bit of a love tap with the empowered, the 4th shot and the Gale Force W combo.
He's just so far ahead right now, and he finished the rapid fire cannon before he even built another damage item too. So it's kind of astounding that he's pumping out this much damage, considering it's not like he built a Gale Force and an Infinity Force and then a rapid fire cannon.
Infinity Force, that's a new item.
Sorry, Infinity Edge. Sorry.
But he did actually pick up RFC, so he does have the extended range. Plus, he actually went Dark Harvest, so that's helping with a little bit of the damage. You know, an extra like 50-ish every stack.
How many Dark Harvest stacks does he have right now? Do you want to place bets on how many Dark Harvest stacks he has before I look at it?
No, because I already looked.
Oh, okay. Well, fine. He has 15 Dark Harvest stacks, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, but we do get another snare onto the Skarner, and that'll be another stack going in. Now trying to get this Nami. The Rise will be able to help get him. That was a wasted exhaust. But Jin did get another couple of stacks there, and they will be pushing in for this inhibitor tower, while Garen has been silently pushing in the top lane. The Mordekaiser will ult him immediately while under the tower, and he's trying to escape. He does get out of the tower range and is trying to survive as long as he can. Mordekaiser is pretty beefy now, especially with that Bramble Vest helping out, giving him quite a bit enough of armor to survive against the Garen.
I actually really liked using the ultimate under tower there, not just because it gets.
I think that this was a mistake, though. He pulled the Garen in, and he didn't have his full cooldowns back yet.
But to finish my point off, it also took Baron buff off of all the minions, which helped him clear the wave after he came out of the ultimate.
But Garen will be able to take this inhibitor tower. So while NEX did take the mid inhibitor and the bot inhibitor, he did open up the base at least. So
yeah, Garen's doing his best.
He is trying.
He's.
Oh, but Jin is going to see the and he does snipe the red buff away from the Garen. Oh, I need to see how much damage does Jin's W do.
A fair amount.
Does about 300 extra damage.
So, Jin's a problem. Let's just get that out of the way right now.
He has Collector. He has Collector.
Which, yep, that is about right. You build like Gale Force, you build Collector, you build Rapid Fire Cannon, and he's got the boots of swiftness to help with his mobility issues a little bit. So Jin is a major problem right now, and I don't know how KP is actually going to deal with him, because they don't have a lot of tools to actually get to him now at this point because of how big and beefy the front line of NEX is.
Yeah. Well, so Swain isn't beefy yet, so there's that. Because he ended up going for Oblivion Orb to deal with the Silas healing and the Nami healing. But he doesn't have his stopwatch, so he can still be blasted pretty quickly.
Yeah, but you have to worry about the Mordekaiser. You got to worry about.
Now they're not even questioning. Oh, the tidal wave does catch him, and the Jin goes down. Olaf does try to go and take some damage out. He does use the Gore Trigger. Does take out the Silas. Now the Swain is trying to keep the fight going as long as he can. The Rise is doing enough damage as well. It's keeping the Garen busy, and now they will get him taken down just before he takes out the Rise. And that'll be a 2 for 2. Now 3 for 2 with that smackdown of the mace. And that was a beautiful catch ever so much onto that Jin. He barely got clipped by...
They figured out...
But is it too little too late? They're trying to push this in. They have triple inhibitors down. Kai'Sa can't clear waves fast enough yet. She doesn't have Hurricane. And now down goes the Skarner. Silas is up. He does have the Swain ultimate. He does try to do some damage, but he doesn't actually get the snare off. And he's trying to survive with the Swain's ultimate. He will actually be able to escape. Now the Rise is trying to do some damage and try to kill him. He will not get that last Q off. Now they're going
I would
to
just get out of there at this point.
get out of
Thank you,
there,
Nick.
head to
Thank you for
the
escaping.
Cloud Drake, and that will be the 4th Drake of the game.
Thank you, Nex, for not inting your lives away there in the base by staying too long. Ansem, if you want to take a breather, I can.
Yeah, as
call
you
the
can
next
hear, I'm
team fight
coughing
if
a
you
little
want
bit.
to.
You know, my voice is getting caught. You go ahead and have your words.
Okay, thank you. I'll call the next team fight and everything for you. I'll give you a little bit of a break here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing an interesting turn of events here. All 3 inhibitors were down for KP. The middle inhibitor came back up again, but I don't think that Nex is going to have that difficult of a time taking that out again. They're going to recall. They're going to spend some of that gold because they do have some in their pockets, burning a hole, as it were, in their pockets. They're going to reset. They're going to figure out what they're going to do here. Kaisa is up by top lane all by herself. Okay, she's recalling.
Yeah,
I thought
she's
she was going
fine.
to show
She's
herself,
fine.
and I thought she was going to show herself and start pushing the lane or something. But she's going to recall and be with the rest of her team here. I think that if Nex goes for this Baron, they can easily take this Baron out. I think this is basically theirs. Yeah, they're melting this thing way too fast.
Yeah,
Skarner's
even with Jin being one of the worst AD carries to take Baron with, they're still just melting it thanks to the Rise.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage that they're putting out as a team right now. It's
You know,
kind of nuts.
random information.
Sure.
I don't actually look at the game that often because I'm playing it. I didn't know that there were so many birds that are floating around the Baron.
Oh, no. So the birds you're seeing are because of Swain.
Yeah, but like oh, okay. Oh, but the Silence does get capped by the root. The Silence does get pulled, does use the stopwatch, but he's not going to be able to survive. He does go down, tries to use the W, but there was a Ignite on him, or some other anti-healing, so he wasn't able to get anything off. But it looks like it is coming to a close. Garen is coming in from the backside. Kaisa does try to do a lot of damage to the Swain. The Swain does go down to the Kaisa. The Kaisa does have to ult away from the Olaf. The Olaf is just running her down. Now the Skarner does try to go for the Jhin. The Jhin does take out the Skarner. Now it's just the Nami and the Garen. And the Garen is all alone trying to take out the Jhin. Does actually take him out, but will be taken down in the end. Does manage to get away, but Olaf, low enough attacks, or low enough health, high enough attack speed, does end up just finishing the game himself.
Hey Google, turn on the fans because everyone's a little sweaty after that game. We saw both teams just fighting all the time, constantly throughout the course of that game. I don't know if it was an issue of neither team wanted to be patient or if both teams said beforehand, no. We're not giving an inch. I don't care if we all die. We're not going to give up Dragon without at least fighting them a little bit, you know? I think it's kind of funny, though, if we take a look at how that game panned out on the stats here in the client. Obviously, Rise and Jhin dealt out a lot of damage. They were the number 1 and 2 damage dealers on the entire Rift that game. We see Garen actually dealing out the most damage for KP, which is kind of a problem when you've got a Kaisa on your team who's supposed to be a hyper carry and win games for your team because of how good she is right now on the current patch.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but if we look at some builds, some questionable choices here that we didn't really have time to point out in the middle of the game because everything was moving so fast. But Jhin, for all of his good items that he built here, did not build a QSS, even though there's a Skarner on the other team. Now, I don't think that he paid for it all that often because he only went 12, 5, and 9. But at the same time, you should have built a QSS just in case, buddy.
All right, so
nobody would have blamed you.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, get some water, cause goddamn, you people just make me want to, like, you people love to torture me whenever I'm casting as play-by-play, cause y'all like to fight more when I'm play-by-play. I feel everybody does that. But anyways, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to uh, Kamikaze Penguins versus NEX Esports. We had a banger of a game one. I didn't even look to see how many kills were in that game in total, but at least 45, I feel.
It was a big old sweaty bloodbath. Yes, it was. Um, Neither team wanted to stop fighting. They always wanted to try to get some more blood on their hands. Um, we are getting ready for the draft here for game number 2. And out of everything that we saw there in game number 1, I want to see some changes in game number 2 for both of these teams. Number 1, just farm more guys so that we don't have to commentate over like fights as much, please. Just do more farming, just get more CS, just give us a break here. Number 2 though is that I want to see KP have a different draft. I don't think Garen or Skarner were great choices for them in game number 1. It reached a point in that game where Skarner could have totally flashed on Jin, pulled him along, sure, but
He would be
the
dead
the
before he
team
got
comp
back to
that
his
Next
team.
had the team comp that Next had just had way too much CC and ways to deal with Skarner if he did do that. So I don't think Skarner's the play. I think you got to go with something else for the jungle pick. I think you need to you need to find a way to get Kaisa ahead early. You need to find a way to get her either some kills or assists early in the game so that she gets a gold lead as soon as possible. Because Kaisa, if you're going to stick with her as a pick, you got to make sure that she's actually able to carry you through the game. Otherwise, just go with something else or go with a different team comp or change something up there. So the bans come through. KP bans Jin. After that performance, I don't blame them for banning Jin. And they lock in Garen again, which I'm going to be critical of. I can't help it. But Amumu, you know what?
I'm
I'll
fine
take
with that. I'm
Amumu
fine
over
with that.
Skarner.
Yeah.
That's a better jungle pick. I'll take that. And meanwhile, next year they lock in Urgot, which was banned against them in the first game. Or no, sorry, they banned Urgot in the first game. But because he was up on the board and they had first pick, they used that first pick to get him for themselves. And Next is also going to pick Kaisa. They're saying if you're going to ban Jin against us, we're going to take Kaisa, who's basically the best AD carry in the entire game right now, and we're gonna destroy you just like we did in game number 1 with her. That's probably their attitude
So,
with that pick.
so we do have Samira still as an option. I don't know if Zenial plays it. Um, So I think that they can pick Samira because she hasn't gotten any nerfs yet. Riot, thank you.
Oh, but they're coming.
Wait a minute, hold up. Yeah, so they picked up Mordekaiser as well. Um,
Are we seeing the fabled Urgot jungle with this pick? Is that what
I
this
I
is?
think that might be it. Either that or Mordekaiser mid lane.
Uh, I'm very interested to see where they line up both of those characters. KP picks up the Seraphine. Maybe that's a Seraphine bot lane. Maybe they're gonna do like a Seraphine Taric bot lane combo or something like that. Maybe that's their plan. Otherwise, Seraphine is most assuredly going mid lane. Rise gets banned by KP. They don't want that Rise in the game again, just like they don't want Jin in the game again. Also banning Olaf as well. They banned 3 champions that Next played in the previous game, and they banned a 4th champion that Next played in the previous game. So they really didn't like that team comp that Next pulled out
Yeah,
last
they're
time.
like, no. All of this is no.
We're not dealing with any of this nonsense again. Get this
And
out
to
of
be
here. We
fair,
don't
the
want it.
Mordekaiser was probably the least impactful on the entire team, so fair.
Which is fair. That's a fair point. And I don't know why they picked Mordekaiser again if Mordekaiser's going top lane, because Garen did beat him pretty handily that last game.
Mm-hmm.
He had the advantage basically the entire game in a 1v1 between the two of them.
Yeah, at one point I saw that the Garen had 160 CS while Mordekaiser was still crawling at like 80, 90 CS. So,
Yeah, it was a pretty big difference. Next, banning the Senna and the Ashe is kind of interesting, though, I feel. Both of them are good champions to pick for KP. I just don't know how good those are, with the 3 champs that they already showed. I don't know if
so we do have, I believe that is for KP a Seraphine Nami in the bottom lane.
I hope it is. I hope we are seeing a Seraphine bot lane pick here
So
because it's just giving us the Sona bot lane again, except with better Sona.
yeah,
You know,
Sona V2.
yeah, Sona version 2.0.
Yeah, they
The
they
final pick
literally
is coming
reskinned
in
her,
here.
and oh,
Okay,
okay, there's the
next
Nico.
pick's Nico. It was banned in game one. They pick it here, so
Wait, so that is Urgot jungle.
that probably is Urgot jungle, and that's Nico mid. That's Mordekaiser top. Very interesting. I think Thresh with Kai'Sa is an interesting combo. Um, I can't say that I've seen the two of them paired up all that often together. It definitely works because Thresh can be played with basically anybody down there. But
Yeah,
I'm used to seeing other stuff being paired up with Kai'Sa
yeah,
instead.
like Leona or
Um,
Nautilus, and
yeah.
yes, it is. So as we do see a couple of people in the chat, um, uh, this is actually a Pandemic Pappy's patent pending bottom lane and Seraphine Nami. So they are stealing their technology.
There, it's like going to any fighting game tournament where all of a sudden you see one player bring out some new tech and then every other player tries to figure out how that tech works. They go into the lab, they try to figure it out in their hotel rooms.
And they're like,
Uh,
this doesn't work. Why does it work?
why does this work? It shouldn't work like this. What is going on here? I'm very excited to see the Seraphine Nami bot lane combo. That is a lot of healing that they bring to the team if both of them build Moonstone, which they both should be building Moonstone this game. That is a lot of healing that can help keep
Mhm.
KP alive through these team fights as the game progresses. Very excited to see if they can actually make that work out. Meanwhile, if we look at how the other lanes are going here, it's going to be Mordekaiser against Garen again in the top lane, which I think is kind of inadvisable here. Maybe it'll be a Mordekaiser jungle Urgot top lane, but I think it's more likely it's still the Mordekaiser top lane.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they would have picked Mordekaiser into the Garen based on game one, but that was their choice. That's what they decided to go with, I guess.
They're like, no, he just got lucky. It's like,
Yeah.
no, he hard smacked you.
Nico versus Malzahar in the mid lane is going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially if Nico is very good with her clones and can be very tricky with those clones. I've seen players completely bamboozle other players with those Nico clones. So I hope that the mid laner here for NEX, I hope Sengisi is able to do that. That'd be really fun. Uh, I like a Mumu as a jungler. I like a Mumu with the Malzahar and with the Seraphine and with the Nami. That is a lot of CC between all of them. Ultimates, all of their ultimates are just so much CC to pile on top of each
But then
other.
where's the
If
damage?
Well, that's what you got. Malzahar also has damage. Garen, if he builds like he did last game, will also have a lot of damage if he keeps the same build, which he probably will be doing. And then Seraphine also is going to have a decent amount of damage, even if she builds Moonstone as her first mythic item. She's still going to have a decent amount of damage in her kit anyway.
Mm,
I feel, and even if we're going to be critical about CC versus damage, I still feel like this is still a better team comp overall than what they did in the first game.
agreed.
So I still feel like it's an improvement anyway.
Yeah, so we're going to have to see how that matches up. Nico hasn't really been seen much for quite a while. I don't remember the last time I saw Nico played outside of ARAM. So this will be interesting to see.
I think she was played in Seal like once or twice this season so far. I can't remember what division, but I think I saw her on the spreadsheet. So anyway, as the countdown is going to go here, we're going to get into our little spectator delay. Ansem, do you prefer one of these team comps over the other one? Are you giving the edge to one of these teams just from draft alone going into this game? And if so, who?
So I am giving it to NEX again. Like, yes, there's an insane amount of CC chaining that they can do for KP. Um, I don't see like a consistent damage tool that'll really like pop off. Because Malzahar does dot damage. Garen, he has to be on top of you to actually do that damage.
Hmm.
Um, and Seraphine Nami are supports. The Amumu is going to
Well,
be your
okay.
real front line. So
Okay, so okay, but what if Seraphine doesn't build Moonstone and she builds something like a Ludens for her mythic?
then
Do you then feel
I would feel a little different, but I still just wouldn't agree to it. Because if
okay?
we do get into the later stages of the game where the comp itself is better, um, they don't have Baron taking threat either. Like, that's not a team comp that I see that takes Baron well.
Okay.
Um, 4 AP champions with Garen as your only physical. That's a melee physical even. Um, I personally just can't agree to that kind of a comp.
All right. Okay. So, uh, here's kind of how I'm seeing this game going. If Urgot and Mordekaiser build a bunch of magic resist items, I think it's going to be very hard to kill them because if you look at KP, it's all magic damage other than Garen. So I think that a lot of the damage potential of KP would be nullified by Urgot and Mordekaiser at that point. I also think that if you look at what Nex has with the Kaisa there, with pumping out a ton of damage,
Mhm.
Nico with a decent amount of AP damage.
Mhm.
She's not top tier damage or anything like that, but she does provide a
she's like
decent amount of it.
she's like B
Um,
tier, I would say.
yeah, yeah, I feel like Nex can win this game still. I think that they still have the edge on the draft here. I feel like if KP had picked an AD mid laner, I feel like they'd have better chances.
Mhm.
But I still feel that Nex would win anyway. I feel like they do have the better draft in this situation. Now, I'm not trying to knock KP down a peg or anything because this is still a better draft than Game One's draft for them as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
I just think that Nex still has the edge in the draft department. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yep. All right, Chad. Who do you think is going to win this? Next Esports on the left, KP on the right. I want to see them flares. Uh, I think it's going to be Next, but we'll have to see how it goes because laning phase is going to be better for KP, but we'll see. All right, here we go. So out of everybody here, only the Urgot is poor.
All right. Ansem, we're going to sync up again here on the Rift once the game loads in.
Yep, I'm already in.
Okay, cool. We should be getting lined up here soon. I have loaded in as well. Okay.
All right, at 10 seconds. All right.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the Rift. These teams are lining up here. I'm interested to see if anybody tries an invade. It looks like Nex is going to go for an invade, or they'll at least line up hoping to attempt one.
Yeah,
With
they have a
Thresh's
thresh,
hook, though,
so it's
yeah,
definitely a lot more better for them to do it.
I
Nico,
def
Nico trying to look as
Okay,
thresh as she can.
that's actually a really good bit of tech right there. I like that. They don't know which thresh to watch out for the hook. I like that. That's a good idea. But they were caught out, so they're just gonna retreat. It's not gonna do much good for them. I don't like the path they took for that invade. I feel like it's way too easy to be spotted on your way to do the invade if you do that.
Hmm.
I feel like a better path was I'm not gonna say it because my team likes using a different path for invades.
Well, I'll
I'm
say
not
it.
gonna give away my team tech.
I'll say it because I think I already know what it is. Because my teams in the past will do it every now and again. It's through the actual bottom lane, around, hugging the wall into the bush, and then popping out of the bush while still hugging
Uh,
the wall.
that is a better bot lane invade. Yes, it is. Okay, so we see here that Cheese Blaze and Always Gonna Game are up here.
Oh, they're going to
Watching
catch
for
out the
the
Mordekaiser. They're going to get him. Oh, but they both see him, but he does get enough of his procs off to get his passive, and they will be able to take off this blue buff. Urgot already took his red buff.
Well, that was a little weirder, and it didn't quite work out. You know, thought that'd be better for them than that. Anyway, moving on here, we're seeing everybody kind of squaring up against each other. Any weird summoners or any weird runes that we see in the game? Not really. It all seems pretty normal. Oh, wow. That's a big sneeze. We do see that Seraphine built a Doran's ring here. I'm trying to see if any of her runes indicate if she's going to go for a moonstone or if she's going to go for something else, and I can't really tell. It's hard to tell what her plan.
If she would have gone like glacial, then you would have been able to have been like, yes. Nice flyback though.
That's a lot of good damage on the Seraphine. But with Nami and Seraphine both having healing in their kits,
because
they'll be fine.
Did they actually proc the Guardian? Because I didn't see. Ooh, nice hook onto the her again. Does get a bunch of damage, does ignite her, and down goes the Seraphine, courtesy of Thresh.
Unfortunate start to the game for the Kamikaze Penguins, but true to their name, the Kamikaze part anyway.
They died trying.
They died first. So, very good news for Kaisa there, as Kaisa needs to get ahead early. And she's definitely ahead early now after that. 23 CS to less than 10. Yeah, and she has an assist to her name as well.
And they even have half of the first plate down. So, you know, it's looking pretty good for them.
Yeah, looking pretty good. I would be very happy if I was this Kaisa and Thresh.
I always love looking at it like a clean Thresh player like that. Like I love looking at those kinds of people like that. So I'll give him props. Those were both very good hooks that he made.
Yep, very good plays indeed by Narshil. Is that how you say
that? Yes, that's how you
Narshil?
say it.
Okay.
Narshil.
Very good plays by him. So we're already seeing kind of a repeat of game number 1 up in the top lane, with Garen having an early lead in the CS department. And it looks like that's just going to continue for him, honestly. Get this big wave under tower, it becomes a little harder for the Mordekaiser to get all that CS. But Urgot is positioning himself, seeing if he might want to gank here.
Mordekaiser is enticing him. The Ignite does go down onto the Mordekaiser. The Mordekaiser also has a flash. And now Cheeseblaze is a little stuck behind enemy lines here. He's trying to run away, uses his Q to get a little bit of movement speed. The Urgot does still have his flippity flip. Garen trying to be creative with his pathing, but he's not really doing good. Does go for the flash and immediately goes onto the Mordekaiser. Does get taken down. And now Garen is trying to escape. Does look like he's probably going to be able to get out. The Urgot doesn't want to engage any further because he doesn't know where the Amumu could be. Doesn't want to do another trade of 1-for-1. So we'll just take that sad engage. And Thresh now getting another hook onto the Seraphine is just landed him.
Desi. I understand wanting to help Urgot out in that instance, get the kill on the Garen, but you just made a little bit of a blunder,
now
put yourself a little bit too much in
is
harm's
trying to look
way.
for this. Does get the flay, and TP does come out from the Mordekaiser and the Nico. Everybody down here, and kind of a missed opportunity from NEX for them.
You know what, though? It does bring everybody down here to get into position for Dragon. And I think that's more important than actually...
And Urgot's trying to find the kill onto the Malzahar. Doesn't actually get the flippity flip. So Malzahar will be able to escape thanks to the flash.
But with Malzahar leaving, that all but guarantees that this dragon goes to NEX, which I think is fine. I think the TPs that we saw bot lane were more just to get everyone's presence down there to secure dragon rather than actually getting a kill in lane. By having the TPs come through, you discourage a Mumu from engaging on the Kaisa or the Thresh. You prevent a fight from happening there. best case scenario,
So
you get a kill and you get dragon, but you still get dragon no matter what.
I think it was fine for the Nico to TP, but Mordekaiser was almost up into the top lane, and then he teleported away. So he lost 2 plates, he lost a kill, lost farm. He's
I
now
mean,
absolutely dead in the water. He is now a liability for his team.
well, based on game number 1, we knew he was going to be dead in the water no matter what anyway. At this
Well,
point, so.
he could have done things a little bit differently to have mitigated it. The fact that he had already died just didn't help. But the fact that he teleported away as soon as the wave was about to crash into the top lane, that was when it was just a seal and done. He has no agency at all in this game anymore. Urgot does land the snipe onto the Nami and does get the pullback. Now Thresh is trying to flash forward and tries to get the Seraphine. Doesn't have the mana for it just quite yet. Kind of looks at himself in disgust with that flash after he realizes his mistake.
Narshal on Thresh, I don't think has missed a hook yet.
He missed one.
At least that spectator client has shown me on my end anyway.
He has missed one, but it was an acceptable miss. It was because of a flash that happened.
Fair enough. So we're seeing a major discrepancy up here in top lane. The gold from all the CS that Garen has and the kill that he has put him over 1,000 gold ahead of Mordekaiser. And this is just disastrous for Mordekaiser at this point. Garen is so far ahead that he's going to be controlling the entirety of this top lane unless a Mumu camps top or unless Mordekaiser gets a lot of help from a lot of people. Garen's already one lane.
Yep. Yeah, now Mordekaiser just hang on for dear life. Don't you ever dare push past past that halfway part. If you are even halfway past the lane, you can consider yourself dead.
Yeah, Mordekaiser, you need to be able to freeze the wave close to tower without the minions actually getting hit by tower.
So
that's your only hope.
Like trying to be creative with your Q and your E for last hitting. Only hitting 1, 2 at absolute most. You do not want to actually use your abilities in these instances to actually clear. But as I say that, they are trying to engage onto the Garen. The Urgot does throw out his Q and misses, so Garen will be able to walk away squeaky clean.
Yeah, and Amumu was right there too, so even if the Garen did start getting in trouble, Amumu was there for the counter gank, would have been able to turn things around no problem.
Malzahar does try to go on to the Nico. The Nico will be able to get away, but the Nami is trying to get to her and does actually get enough damage with the Seraphine helping out at the end with her double E.
All right, Seraphine, getting a kill for yourself. Proud of you.
Proud of
I don't
you.
know. I don't really know what this does for Seraphine in general because Seraphine bot lane's pretty new to me.
Does get the root or charm onto the Thresh, and the Urgot will go down thanks to the Malzahar using his ultimate to keep him steady.
All right, hey Ansem, you know how you said you were worried about the damage coming out of this team at the beginning of the draft?
Yeah.
They seem pretty okay with the damage right now, and that's probably because Seraphine is not building a Moonstone. She's built a Lost Chapter, which means that her mythic options are not at all what we thought they were. I would assume she's going for a Luden's Echo for the extra burst on all of her abilities versus the Leandries.
Yeah, which Malzahar would be going for. Oh, but now we do have quite a bit of damage onto the Kaisa. Does get another hook onto the Nami. The Kaisa will have to use the Lantern and her ultimate to get out, and does barely escape. Now the Urgot is here to try to make sure that she can catch the Seraphine. The Seraphine is going to have to flash away. Fails to flash over the wall. No. And now the Nico is down here to try to capture the Malzahar, but the Thresh is there to actually get it like he does. And the snipe from the Urgot onto the Nami catches all 3 of them. 3 for none.
You know what, though? At least this game is closer than the first game was. This game looks like it's going to be much more of a contest than game 1. I'm really looking forward to see how this develops as time goes on here. Seraphine and the Mermaid here. Nami. That's right. Nami.
Garen actually screwed up in his fight a little bit top lane, but he does have enough to get a lot of damage out. He does ignite onto the Mordekaiser. The Mordekaiser does force the flash away from the Garen, and he's, he's hanging on.
Yeah.
He's doing
That passive
enough.
health regeneration, though, he'll be back to normal in no time.
Ooh, tries to go for the hook. Blind hook, by the way.
Imagine if that hook had landed.
If that had landed, I think that you just surrender yourself as a bottom lane.
Yep, you just go, all right, take it. It's fine. I give up. I'll let you kill me here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Seraphine and Nami moving forward into the game, because we've already seen how well the two can work in tandem, as long as they're not making weird macro decisions with the rest of the team.
Mordekaiser's about to get killed. Like, Garen's going to Q ult and then he dies. Oh, he Q'd the tower! Oh, and then goes down. He goes down.
All right. Tiny mistake by Garen. He pays for it. I mean, how much shutdown gold was that just went into Mordekaiser's pocket because of that? I didn't see what his bounty was.
He actually did not have a bounty.
How did he not have a bounty at that point?
Ugh.
Sorry. I got a little too passionate there. I apologize, everybody.
Yeah.
So, okay, Urgot gets a bounty when he's not, like, I don't know.
Oh, we do get the Seraphine ultimate. Doesn't actually get a lot of damage out, but the Malzahar does use his ultimate, and with the Amumu taking it up with the aftershock, they will be able to get out just fine. But Amumu does get caught by the Urgot and does get.
So we're seeing some very interesting things coming out of the game here. We're seeing the AD carry for NEX here still playing very well on his AD carry choice. It's not Jhin this game, it's Kaisa. But Kaisa's 1-0 and 3, has 1,000 gold more than Seraphine has, so winning the bot lane matchup right there, just like last game. Looking forward to seeing Kaisa pop.
Thresh is trying to get this Malzahar. He does force the flash away from him. Now the Kaisa's going on to the Nami. Does ult in to keep her dead, and does get it despite the flash and the exhaust from the Nami. Another kill goes over to the Kaisa.
Yep, Kaisa doing some work now. She's ready to pop off. She's built the Kraken Slayer, not the Gale Force. I'm used to seeing Kaisa's building Gale Force, so that's, I mean, not that Kraken Slayer is a bad item on her, it's just I'm used to seeing Gale Force instead.
Mm-hmm. And she leveled up, so she got an upgrade. I believe that was her AD upgrade.
It was her AD upgrade. That's the only thing she could upgrade at this point. Doesn't have enough attack speed to level up her E yet.
Yep.
So Malzahar is doing pretty good.
Oh, Garen is behind the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser gets jumped on. Amumu does get ulted, and now Mordekaiser is trying to kill him, but he doesn't do any damage to the Amumu just yet. He does get a nice shield. Now the Nami is there to heal and speed up the Amumu. Cheese Blaze does end up taking down Desi with that. And items are coming in, and would you like to have a chat about those items?
Let's have a chat about some of these items. Urgot buys Gore Drinker, which is, you know what? I don't play Urgot.
Oh, but we do have another fight, and he does get sniped by the Urgot! He has not missed an ultimate.
Yeah, Urgot's a better sniper this game than Jhin was last game, if you can believe those words.
Ooh, but then the Thresh is trying to make another name for himself as well. He does get the hook onto the Seraphine. And now the Nami will go down too. The Urgot is probably going to go down to the tower and does so with the 700 gold shutdown for the Nami to pick up for herself. She will have completed her item with that, I think.
Man, some very impressive stuff out of this Urgot. Very good stuff, Berserker. Very impressed by what I'm seeing out of you this game. Just kind of nuts what you've been able to do. Same thing could also be said of Thresh here by Narshil, hitting these very nice hooks for his team that gets them into these very advantageous positions. And now they're catching up in the gold. It's only a 600 gold difference between the two teams here after getting that tower. Maybe this is going to work out like game number 1 did, where they start taking over at this point. They've got Kaisa at 4-0-4 with a lot of damage.
Garen tries to go onto the Nami. The Nami will be able to snare him now. Mordekaiser flashes onto the Garen. Garen tries to take out the Mordekaiser, does have the Ignite onto him, and it does end up taking him down for a 1-for-1 trade overall. Still more beneficial, I think, to the the Garen, since, Mordekaiser, he's just keeping him down, only has a Leeching Leer.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's not fun for this Mordekaiser. He's doing the best he can with what he's got, and what he's got are toothpicks.
That would be generous to say that.
Oh no.
Oh no! And now the Amumu does go in, does get a lot of damage onto the Kai'Sa. The Kai'Sa will be able to ult away. Now the Mordekaiser's TPing into the fight, fully fresh, ready to go. Does use the ultimate onto the Malzahar. Does try to take him down while in the Death Realm. Does take a lot of slaps, but it does go down in the end. 306 gold thanks to the. There was, I think, one minion there from Malzahar. Garen goes in, does shut down the Kai'Sa. The Garen's trying to go in and spin the wind to get to the Urgot. Doesn't actually get the kill onto him just yet. He's trying to find just to get the last little bit of hits. Doesn't actually get anything else out of it. And that will be it. A 5-for-1 trade.
All right. So Mordekaiser makes himself useful. He helps the team out there, doesn't die, helps them get some kills. Mordekaiser's in a much better spot, but he's still only at half the gold that Garen has. So still not optimal here for the Mordekaiser. But you know what? As a team, they work together very well in there in that Dragon Pit. They work together superbly to take out the members of KP and secure their third dragon of the game. They are at soul point now for this Ocean Soul.
Oh god, that's going to be a nuisance to deal with.
Yeah. Ocean Soul is a great soul for any team, but you know who really needs that Ocean Soul right now? Mordekaiser. He could really
he could really use that. And also, just to think about it, if they do make this comeback happen, which again, it's very, very slim, but it can happen. Imagine the Seraphine and Nami having an Ocean Soul.
Yeah, just absolutely.
Mind you, that's going to be another like 30 minutes from now if that were to happen. But hey,
yeah,
you can dream.
It could
right?
happen. Yeah, the dream. Could
Ooh,
happen.
got a hook onto the Nami. The Thresh will be able to hook in with the Urgot. The Urgot does try to do a bit of damage onto them, but will be able to survive it. Now Nami gets hooked again.
My God, Thresh.
Kai'Sa does land her W onto the Seraphine. Thresh does throw his hook out, but doesn't really land it. I think that's okay. Amumu's kind of just.
Is anybody in chat a social worker? Because we need to help Nami fill out some harassment lawsuit paperwork.
Also, the Amumu kind of just sat with his W on the entire time, so now he's got no mana to fight with, and he's going to be taken down by this Kai'Sa and Thresh with just another hook to make sure he don't go nowhere.
Thresh is very impressive this game, doing a lot of work. I can't tell. Yeah, I can't. If I was choosing the MVP of this game for NEX, I don't know if I could choose between Urgot.
Ooh, we do got the root and the charm on the Kai'Sa. She saw it in her eyes, but she just couldn't make it. She just barely missed the W to kill the Seraphine, and that'll be a nice play from Zenial.
Yeah, he really showing us that the Liandry's Torment here on Seraphine is working out for him. That he packed a lot more punch in those abilities than I thought he would have, so I can see why this is their strategy. I can see why the Pandemic Poppies do this as well. I'm understanding the methodology.
However,
understanding the thought process.
I think that they would disagree with the choice of item for Seraphine since she went with the Liandry's. And I kind of agree with that idea that I think Luden's would have been better, especially with, extra wave clear, extra amounts of damage. Yep.
I mean, still, I get the point of building a damaging mythic item versus Moonstone. I can see why that's the strategy here.
Yeah, like damage is fine, but I just don't agree with the Liandry's part of it.
I'm just interested to see Urgot and Mordekaiser build some magic resist items, because I feel like you just build some magic resist items and you kind of prevent KP from doing anything.
So we see them all stacking up around the Baron Pit, and nobody's really going over to check. So they're just going to go ahead and just take this. Nobody's even going to really notice. I feel like somebody in KP should probably be saying, like, hey, we have one Scrying Orb. We should probably use it to check. Like, I know Dragon's coming up in a minute, but they're able to take this no problem. And that'll be, wait a minute.
Very easy
Oh,
Baron.
no. Okay. I understand your color, but I need to say something.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna use the one F-bomb for this. Why the why the fuck are you building a goddamn tier 21 minutes into the game? It does absolutely nothing for you.
Oh, the Seraphine built a tier?
Yeah,
oh, wow,
she just got the tier after she got an Oblivion Orb. And I'm like, okay, you're going for Morello's. Yeah, fine, whatever. I'm not going to... I don't like your build already, but it was whatever. But why the fuck are you building a tier? That is an item that you build either first or on your first back. And now she's building it at this moment. That is an outright troll from the Seraphine. Amumu does go in. We do have an ultimate going out from the Seraphine. Does get a lot of damage going off with Cheese Blaze into the back line. The Nico does go Mumu with a flash ultimate onto 4 of them. And now they're trying to survive the ensuing team fight. After the fact, Malzahar does try to go in and try to clean up onto the Kaisa. Malzahar does have to flash away from the Urgot. The Urgot is still going in and Thresh landing another hook onto the Malzahar. Now they're trying to keep the Urgot away from killing the rest of them. There is no ultimates left for the Urgot or the Thresh. Garen will go on to the Thresh and does try to do as much as he can, but doesn't get his ultimate off. And now we've got another TP coming in from the Mordekaiser, coming back in now that he's fully healed up. Now Nami's going to be taken down to the Thresh of the Mordekaiser. The Thresh lands another great hook onto her, just for the Thresh to flay him away. And now the Kaisa will be able to take out the Seraphine.
Man. All right, I've decided. Give the MVP of this game to Thresh. He deserves it after all those hooks in that last fight. He deserves it.
I counted. He landed 6 hooks.
Hands down, MVP of this game is Narshal. If they end up winning, which they are pushing to win right now.
Yeah, you know, Kaisa is looking at that mid lane. Urgot is finishing up that dragon. Does land another flay onto the Amumu.
It's so impressive what they've been able to do this game with this Thresh and this Urgot.
NEX Esports in the comments is telling Mordekaiser to stay poor, so that way they don't get any free shutdown gold off of him when they kill him.
Oh, that's good. I like it. So we're seeing them with Ocean Soul here, which kind of, I don't know, to me I feel like that gives them just as much healing as Seraphine and Nami give healing to their team at this point. I might be wrong about that, but I feel like it's a really good amount of healing. Garen is split pushing bot lane right now, trying to give NEX Esports something to think about.
There's another hook, and down goes Seraphine. Garen is trying to push bot lane. He doesn't really provide anything for team fights, so that's fine. Thresh landing another hook onto the Malzahar. That's 2 in a row right there. We do have him trying to survive under this tower. Is going to have to pop that locket, and we'll be able to get everybody out. Kaisa and Urgot are a little behind enemy lines.
Yeah, they're just going to march in the minions here to take out this tower and go for the inhib afterwards.
We didn't actually see it because there was a fight happening in top lane. Mordekaiser was able to actually solo kill the Garen. I don't know how that happened, but okay.
Yeah, kind of a Christmas miracle there for NEX Esports to have Mordekaiser win that one-on-one.
Yeah, he's been smacked around by this Garen in 2 full series in this matchup, and he finally got that 1v1.
It's kind of like that episode of The Simpsons where Bart is going to fail his test, and so he prays for a miracle, and then they get a snow day the next day, and Bart has an extra day to study for the test. It's kind of what happened to Mordekaiser there in that bot lane. He prayed, he hoped, and he was delivered a kill to the Garen, even though Garen has double the CS that he has practically. Mm-hmm. And in the gold department, he has 5,000 more gold, 4,000-ish more gold than Mordekaiser.
Yikes.
Mordekaiser was able to win.
About 3.5, but yes. Okay, and also, as a little bit of a gripe, okay, thank you. As a little bit of a gripe, as a previously Thresh main, When I throw my lantern out, please click it. Even if it doesn't seem like, yeah, you don't really need to click it, please just click it for me. It makes me sad whenever I see a Thresh throw out his lantern and people don't click it. There's even a little achievement that says for how many people have clicked your lantern in the entire game.
All right. I have returned. I had a weird sound issue I needed to resolve, but I have returned.
That is fine.
All right. So what we're looking at here is we are seeing NEX Esports with a major advantage. They have a 6,000 gold lead on KP. Game is still not over. KP can still overcome this, but
we're all trying to run away. Now the Mordekaiser is thrown in with the Thresh. They do not actually get anybody because they just don't have the movement speed, even with the mobility boots from Thresh.
Yeah, they should just get this Baron. Hopefully KP can put up a fight here, maybe steal the Baron. Show that they're not done yet, but they should be able to burn this Baron down pretty quickly with all the Kaisa damage and all of the Nico damage and all the Urgot damage. They got a lot there.
I'm going to go back to a thing about this tier on Seraphine because it's triggering me so much. So, like, if you were worried about mana, you could have gone for the Chem Tank, the other Oblivion Orb item, because it now does it where you heal or shield an ally, their next attack or damage will cause you to... And before I could say that, we do have a fight. Amumu did flash in, but did get Mordekaiser ulted before the ultimate did go off, and will be taken down before the end of this fight. Congratulations. Good attempt, but unfortunate for you, you do not pass. Nico does actually take quite a bit of damage, especially with that Oblivion Orb. Seraphine goes for the flash ultimate and got all 5 of them. Garen tried to do as much damage as he can, does get his ultimate, but Mordekaiser's Zonia is just in time before the ultimate cast time finishes. Now Seraphine will be hooked by the Thresh. Thresh will be able to hook the Malzahar out of this and will be able to take him down. Now it's just a Nami, and a poor fish out of water is just going to get hooked by
Thresh is going to get taken to court over harassment and abuse on this Nami by the time this game is over. I think Thresh has hooked Nami more than any other champion in this entire game, and I think it's not even close.
You would be correct. But he is still trying to make a name for himself, does hook everybody. It's like, these hooks are rated E for everybody.
They're not going to be able to get the tower, unfortunately, but they're definitely showing that they are ready to end this game, being aggressive and being in the base like this. If I were them, I would just head over to that
he gets hooked by the Garen. The Garen does take a lot of damage, does have to flash away, and does get ulted by the Urgot, and they will be able to take him out in that 2v1.
Yeah, just go get Elder Drake and then end the game, guys. Just go get Elder Drake, go to the base, end the game.
Yeah, Nico's already prepping it and getting it ready for everybody to come on down. Mordekaiser helping with that damage.
At this point, any kills that you get are the cherry on top of the cake here at this point. The cherry on top of the ice cream sundae.
I really don't like this Garen build. I'm sorry. I really don't like this.
I don't know what to think
about
it,
that hook was so close. But so as I was saying about the other Oblivion item, because of the changes that they made, if you heal or shield an ally, they gain a 60% Grievous wounds. So not just you, but other people can have that. Plus, it gives you mana and ability haste, 2 things that Seraphine love. So again, why did you go for a goddamn tier? Is it to hold your team's tiers? Because if that's the case, then I'm fine with it. But otherwise, that was a waste of an item, slot. And now Mordekaiser does ult the Amumu before his ultimate does go off, and Amumu is a very sad mummy today, is trying to wait out for the Mordekaiser ultimate, does actually survive it, but with only 1 Nexus tower remaining, it's looking clearer and clearer that Nex just has KP's number today.
Yep, they were the better team on the Rift today between the 2 of them. And honestly, I'm glad that we got to see the Seraphine Nami bot lane.
Seraphine does use her ultimate onto the Nico alone. More, Urgot does get ulted by the Malzahar. The Garen does get blown up. And now 4 are down with only a Mumu all alone by himself. And that will be the end of this series. NEX Esports with 2-0
Oh man.
over KP.
Honestly, I'm glad that we got to see the Seraphine Nami bot lane because they were able to do some cool things there. The team was able to get some good team fights off, but they just didn't have enough going for them in the total comp itself to be able to make a comeback there once Next got a good lead on them. Unfortunately for them, I was very excited to see some. I was very excited to see that game go longer. I was very excited to see Seraphine and Nami really help the team sustain more in those team fights. But good job to Nex Esports. Really well done there with both of those games, showing off what you guys can do, especially the Urgot and the Thresh in game number 2. I'm struggling to think of a better Urgot performance in the entire history of Casual Esports Amateur League. I think that's the best Urgot I've seen in the league ever. And as far as Thresh is concerned, I've seen good Threshes, and that performance goes up there with the best of them. Very well done by you guys. I'm going to have to call it a night on the cast, unfortunately, everybody. My pregnant wife needs my assistance with something, and she comes first.
Okay.
So I'm going to say goodbye. It was a pleasure casting this game with you, Ansem.
Yeah.
I had a great time. And everybody in chat, I will see you on the next game that I cast, or maybe the next game that gets casted that I play in. Who knows? But have a good night, everybody. I'll catch you all later.
All right. With that, we will end the broadcast here this evening. I personally would give the MVP to the Thresh. He really outdid himself. But that'll be it for this evening. Thank you, everybody. The next matchup, I believe, we don't have a stream cast for it yet, but the next couple of matches are in Shurima. Uh, the Donkeys versus the Boing Boings, and Cloud10 versus Team Harmony Godon. So that'll be a couple of interesting matches to see. All those are teams looking to make it into the postseason for playoffs. So thank you everybody for paying attention to my losing of voice, and we will see you on the next cast. Thank you and good night.